Welcome to the European Climate Pact podcast, your space to explore climate stories, ideas, and action, brought to you by Pact Ambassadors and Country Coordinator in Ireland. Launched by the European Commission, the Climate Pact invites everyone to take part in building a greener, more sustainable Europe. From everyday climate actions to systemic change, the Pact is about connecting people and empowering communities. Each episode features thought-provoking conversations with changemakers, experts, creatives, and citizens who are driving solutions across Ireland and beyond. Subscribe and stay updated on the latest episodes via Southeast Energy Agency's YouTube channel and social media. Don't forget to check your favorite podcast platform to listen, follow, and share. Let's get started. Hello everyone, and welcome to Sustainable Festivals and Events. This is where culture meets climate action. And here we're going to talk about how communities and creativity can work hand in hand to tackle climate change. My name is Edima Obaloluwa, representing the Island Country Coordinator for the European Climate Pact right here in Ireland. And we're coming to you live from the beautiful town of Trim, right here in County Meath. So this is a celebration of Ireland's Celtic traditions, storytelling, imagination. But this year is extra special because joining the Púca Festival is the European Climate Pact Ambassadors. Yes, alongside with festival organizers, sustainable advocates, and we're going to be talking about how festivals like Púca can lead in, building greener, sustainable events across Ireland. I'm just going to pass the mic around and allow us to introduce ourselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Shirley Gallagher. We have him here. And I'm an EU Climate Pact Ambassador. So there are hundreds of us all around the EU, and there are 18 in Ireland, and today we have 4 in Púca Festival. So I'm really delighted to be here. I love the fact that there's so much traditional crafts, and there's a lot of made in Meath products for sale, and there's great music. Keela was playing last night, and the tradition of the lighting of the silent fire was quite remarkable. So great to be here, and I'll pass it on to Lorna.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lorna McCormack, and I am a European Climate Pact Ambassador also. And I'm also the founder of Wool & School. And I'm delighted to be here today to teach young children the benefits of wool and sustainability and why wool has its place in the conversation of climate change.
Hi, my name is Anupam Srivastava. I'm a European Climate Pact Ambassador and a founder of a stealth startup where I have this box, SDG 13 Climate Action. It has both the adaptation and resilience, how we can fit all the community regarding the climate change. So working on this, helping the community to reach the climate action goals, ultimately helping the European Union to reach 2050 goals, the action agenda and the whole pact with the help of the whole community, how we can reach it. The ultimate goal aim is this. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Patricia White, and I'm with Drogheda Credit Union. We have a branch here in Trim, and we are also one of the sponsors of the Púca Festival. We are sponsoring the Living History part of the Harvest Market this year, and delighted to do so. And we have a huge emphasis on climate and ESG in our strategic plan for the years ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. And if you're here at the festival, I see a lot of us here. Please come close. We encourage you to come closer. You're going to learn 1 or 2 things. Can you hear us? I'm sure you can. Come closer, come closer, come closer. You're about to learn a whole lot about sustainability festivals. It's Púca, no doubt, but there is so much more that goes into planning the festival to ensure that it is sustainable. So those aspects are what you're about to listen to today. So now, for our panelists, when we talk about sustainable festivals, what are we really referring to? Would you say the waste management? Would you say energy use? Would you say funding? Would you say local sourcing or something broader? What would you really say?
I'll talk about energy because one of the companies I work with is called Second Life Battery Services Limited. And with Second Life Battery Services, we take waste batteries, we test them. If they're good enough to go again, we put them in a new system that we digitally remotely control. So these batteries could be used for eco-festivals, but what Púca are using is HVO. Does anyone know what HVO is in the audience? HVO is hydrogenated vegetable oil. So after you've had your chips from the chipper, the chip pan oil basically is reused and it's made into a diesel format, which is seen as a bit as regenerative, and it's better than using fossil fuels. So to my knowledge, all the diesel generators are HVO in the at the festival, which is one way you can green a festival. And I'll hand over to the next person who might talk about something else.
I think in relation to any kind of festival, when we get together, it's important that we bring people from our own communities. So what I see here with the Púca Festival is that we have a lot of artists and organisations who are local. I think having local representation within any kind of festival is important. It reduces our carbon footprint, reduces our emissions, and it keeps very much community alive. So it's just fantastic to see that everybody here, everybody knows somebody. It's community, it's bringing people together, it's heritage, it's culture, and I think that's what makes the Púca Festival very successful.
Yeah, as mentioned by the other two speakers, the community engagement and the energy usage. Because particularly in Europe, we are like shifting to renewable energy and other sort of energies, moving from the fossil to energy. So the transition, this phase, supported by the government, supported by the community, how we take it forward, and as an individual, how we take a carbon footprint for the individual and able to help the government to like tackle this whole scenario and ultimately reach the net zero goals. So the festival is all about the community engagement, learning about all the things the community is doing, the government is doing, the local climate team is doing, and ultimately able to help them to reach the goals, enjoy, and how we can reach it, move forward.
Yes, I suppose I agree with what everybody else has said here. It's an absolute mammoth task to put on an event like this and takes months and months of organisation. But for us, we are very much keen to support local and to keep everything within our own area, which leads onto the whole sustainability of giving back to our local area, which would be Trim and other areas that we're involved in are East Meath, Drogheda and Duneer. But I suppose keeping it local, and that would be one of our key factors.
Okay, thank you for all those wonderful responses. And when you were talking, I also couldn't help but think, how can Ireland become a leader in sustainable festivals and events across Europe? I know we have Púca Festival, and I also learned that Púca Festival did pick up a couple of awards earlier as well. But is there more that Ireland could do regarding sustainable festivals?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about food and food waste. So I'm not sure about how is the waste managed from here. You know, where is it going to be composted? Is there an anaerobic digestion facility nearby? I think there might be. One of the things with eco-festivals is to consider vegan or vegetarian. This is in Ireland and Meath. I don't know if that's an option, but that's one way of reducing the carbon footprint of the festival. And I suppose talking about, you know, where is your audience coming from? Are they international? Are they national? Again, the footfall, the footprint will be reduced depending on where the audience is coming from. And again, using local produce would be a great way to reduce the carbon, but also to support the locality and the community that is part of Púca.
I think for a sustainable festival, we also have to look at the transport, what the transport is like locally. How do people get here? Are there areas, the right kind of parking? Is there charging facilities for charging cars? All these elements need to also maybe be considered to ensure that it's a sustainable and ongoing practice right through the next when they have the next festival year on and year on, so that it advances as it goes from every year and learns from what is needed within that community. And again, you also have to take the weather into account and how you're going to maintain and sustain people coming here. The location is very, very important for any kind of festival.
Definitely, the transport and the waste are two of the very most important points. But as we are moving closer to the evening, we have to focus on the energy aspect as well. Like what sort of energy is being used in this grand festival over the course of 3 to 4 days? Is it more renewable? And Ireland, as one of the emerging leaders in the wind energy, hydropower energy, how we can transfer all sort of energies and use more in this side of festivals, so we can have a greener energy, particularly in this sort of festivals, able to move forward with this.
Yes, not to repeat what the other panelists have said, fully agree with everything, but aside as well would be very important for us in the credit union is inclusivity, and Púca Festival is definitely about that. There's roadways and ramps for wheelchairs, buggies, and wheelchair users. There's also the fast pass sign on all the trade stands, so if you have if you need to be served quickly, you are able to do that and not feel in any way putting anyone out, which is a huge part of festivals. And going forward, it would be great to see more festivals take that into account. And I agree with what everybody else has said.
And just to finish on what the lady was saying about there is an autistic there's a quiet space with neuro healthcare down in the corner, which is quite nice. So, if you feel overwhelmed, sometimes people do get overwhelmed with lots of people. There is a quiet space, which I think is a lovely concept. And I'm going to talk about poo. So one of the issues about toilets in festivals is that we use chemical toilets. And one thing that could be potentially looked at is the use of compost toilets. There's a whole health and safety issue with that. And there's the whole kind of how can we manage it. But that's something that I think could be a lovely European project to do that.
Shirley. Okay, that's food for thought. Actually, that's a good food for thought. So, well, just as we start to wrap up, do you think cultural events can change how people think and act about climate change? Say, let's be practical, using Púca. Do you think it can change how people really think, how people really view climate change? What actions people could take?
I think I made a difference this morning. We had American guests here this morning when I was speaking earlier, and they're quite amazed at the types of recycling that we have in our hotels, in our homes, and they don't have that in the US. So developing a compost bin is something that they're going to go home with, which is wonderful. And Meath County Council have a number of brown bins that can be put in underneath your kitchen sink or on top of your kitchen counter. And that's a great facility to have, that it's small enough, and then you can bring it out either to your compost bin, or you can make a compost bin at home. So I do think these small steps definitely do help, and it makes people think the simplicity, across the way, Lynn Kirkham, who's an artist, she's helping people make crowns, and the joy that people are having, twisting willow, weaving ivy, and putting flowers in their hair. It's just really quite joyous, and sometimes the simplicity. And I don't know if any of you have gone into this. These are all wooden made games that are ancient and fabulous, and there's not a phone to be seen. Everyone's really enjoying it, the adults and the kids. So I think that's something that people will think about when they go home. And even the weaving, and Lorna and your wool, telling people about most woolen jumpers that are bought in Ireland are not made from Irish wool. It's quite shocking. So, that's something that I've brought away. So we're always learning, no matter what our expertise is. It is about discovering what can we do, and I use Maya Angelou, when we know better, we do better.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and back to that, I think knowledge is king. Once we know how to, once we have the information, that's when we can start making changes. And I think the information doesn't have to be so highfalutin in a sense. It can be, grounded information that people can, it's tangible, grounded, and that people can use in everyday life. And that's what we need to be doing instead of giving all this research. We need to give little ideas, little notions, little activities that people can actually bring home and become a natural aspect to their everyday living, so that they can bring it and pass it on. And that's what it's the intergenerational passing on knowledge is so important for different age groups when it comes to sustainability, because our heritage was always sustainable. It's based on sustainability and nature and that. So we need to get back to nature, back to our intergenerational learning, and passing down that ecological knowledge sharing, that it becomes a natural instinct, no questions asked. And that's what makes us practice sustainability.
Community engagement is one of the very most important things if we have to reach the SDG goals, and in particular the SDG 13. It involves it is one of the maybe fewest SDG which involves all of them, and takes every SDGs in terms of adaptation, in terms of resilience. And I've been talking to the guys from the Meath County Council and the work they are doing, particularly starting just 2 years back, the climate action team, focusing more on the community, how the local people can engage in the renewable energy, engage in the local artifacts, and how everything could be supervised with the help of the Meath County Council, and as it has been saying in almost all of the counties, particularly in Ireland. So the climate engagement plan, according to the UN SDGs, according to the European Union plan, how it should be told, and the role of ambassadors. We are in Ireland, we are just 30s, and how we have to take this and move forward with taking to the community, talking to them, what are the problems to them, and how as the ambassadors we can talk to them and able to solve the problem at a big higher level, talking to the counties and maybe solving them. So able to talk to the community and then maybe moving forward with that should be the ultimate criteria moving forward.
Thank you. Yes, again, what was said, knowledge is definitely king. And the one thing I noticed about Púca in particular, in terms of all the decoration and how the festival is dressed, it's all made with natural materials. There's lots of shrubbery and planting and reusable materials all throughout particularly the Harvest Market Festival, which is fabulous to see. So that all this material, when it's finished, it will biodegrade and go back into the earth. as opposed to having huge big plastic banners everywhere. I think that's really noticeable about this festival in particular, and something that we could do in terms of festival and events is maybe tie into local communities, local schools to help so that they can be part of the creative process and so that they can understand how things are made and the importance of not having, throwaway goods. That we have so much natural beauty here in Ireland. We're so lucky, and why not use it? Yeah.
Okay, and finally, as we wrap up, I would love to also know, what message would you give to other event organizers who want to start their own sustainability journey? Any message for them? And you can also end with any final words that you have.
I'm just wondering, is there any questions from the audience? Before we...
Does anyone have any question to ask about sustainability? Curious to know anything? Okay, they just want to listen.
You're trying to get away with that one.
I like interrogating people. I think so. Taking a picture or a page out of Trim's book. They've got these keep cups that all the coffee shops around Trim are using. They're like €2 and you can come and go with them. And so it's something that could be incorporated into the festival, that when you're getting a ticket, you could get one of those and then you bring it home or whatever, but you can repurpose it and reuse it as you're going, in your locality, which I think is a lovely idea. I was told you don't actually need to wash them, which is interesting. And what else would I say about the festival? The renewable energy, implementing the renewable energy and creating potentially stuff that can be reused, repurposed forever. I don't know how new these little sheds are. Are they each year? They look very new. So I wonder, is there a place to store stuff? Oh, yeah.
This is another great local initiative.
This is what I was chatting about. So do you want to tell us about it?
Absolutely.
Great.
Hi, just to mention, I'm Michael from Trim Climate Action, and we have a new initiative we've launched with the support of our amazing Climate Action Department in Meath County Council, and also the support of Drogheda Credit Union. We've launched a community initiative to try and remove disposable coffee cups from our environment. It's an amazing town, as you all know, visitors and locals alike, amazing heritage, fantastic biodiversity. We have kingfishers, we have otters in the river, we have mayflies and dragonflies, and we have so much around Trim. And we're trying to clean up our environment. Sorry, Shirley.
You have salmon.
We have the salmon of knowledge, which I think that's been passed on to women. I'm not sure if the men of Meath have gotten that knowledge, but so. Thank you for the encouragement, David. I'm taking that in a positive way. So we're really loving Púca, chance to meet with people, visitors and locals alike, and network, and loving your work as well, Shirley, and everybody here. And so I'd love wanted you to give a mention to our Renewable Cup, and appreciate, David, the opportunity to promote it through Púca. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's for you.
I think having a really excellent team behind anything like this is so important. A team that's going to work really hard, work really well, I think, and be able to get the funding. I mean, something like this, you need really good funding as well. But, I think, again, it's back to, you want it to be successful the first time, and obviously this has been, for a good few years, and it's been built on. So having any kind of sustainable, anything in relation to the climate actions and that, you do need to be able to bring in the people from different areas to understand the needs of the people that you have coming visiting, the people who are entertaining, or the people who are actually in the stalls as well. So it's important that you have all those skills, and everybody has their place in something like this, and everybody has something to bring to for something like this. I think it's important to acknowledge the work and the efforts that go into any kind of successful event, especially the Púca Festival.
I think one of the important message to the community, like how they can like get involved with this, is like you don't need to like take any big action to be like called a member of a sustainability community. Each and every small action, starting from home, less food wastage, like saving more energy, and moving ahead with this use of more public transportation wherever like it is like you can like afford, and like coming to the festivals, like able to like talk to the people, like engage with them, like who have like a certain amount of knowledge, like talking to them, able to get to the basics of all these things. Because as an individual, you don't need to take a big action to be like come into that domain, but like each and every action counts. So moving forward with that, if you have taken each and every individual action, because all those would be counted in one of the largest frame of subframes in this domain.
Yes, and finally, I suppose, I think it's very important to engage with the local community and particularly with the young people as well, who are full of knowledge around climate action and sustainability, and to link into their ideas. And again, I know I mentioned it before, but we do an outreach program where we're in all the local primary schools. And when you listen to the kids and you're having the chat with them when they're lodging their €2 into their credit union account, they have amazing ideas as kids. And also with the secondary schools and into colleges, I think if you're thinking of doing a festival, I would definitely look at linking in with the local community as best possible, and perhaps through the schools, universities and colleges. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So for all our listeners, everyone who was listening passively, actively, we want to thank you for your time, and to our wonderful guests as well, to our Climate Pact ambassadors, to Credit Union, to everyone here. We want to say thank you so much. And we also want to thank you for sharing the insights, for helping to shape the Púca Festival as well. Well, if you would like to learn more about the European Climate Pact, please make sure you visit our website. You can also go over to the other stand about wool. Shortly, you're going to be hearing from our Climate Pact ambassador, Lorna McCormick. She's going to be telling you about wool. There's also the VR section just over there, where you could learn, you could see everything about wool. Trust me, there's so much you think you know about wool, but you don't. Now, you can also catch up with this. So go to Southeast Energy Agency on YouTube and get to watch. You can also listen. It's going to be available on all streaming platforms, every single streaming platform of yours. If you love to listen to podcasts, you would hear this, you would hear a bunch of other ones as well. Just ensure that you stay tuned and keep being sustainable, everyone. Again, if you have questions, we'll be over there to take your questions. Enjoy the festival, the rest of the festival, and please be sustainable. Thank you. Thank you for staying with us through the European Climate Pact podcast, hosted by the Pact Ambassadors and Country Coordinator in Ireland. We hope you're feeling inspired to take climate action in your own life, community, or organization, because real change starts with conversations just like these. Catch up on all episodes via Southeast Energy Agency's YouTube page, and follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes, and more. Don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, colleagues, or anyone ready to be part of Europe's climate journey. Talking about climate's journey, visit the Climate Pact website, climate-pact.europa.eu, to explore all the lovely citizens engagement tools you could use to start your climate journey today. Until next time, stay curious, stay active, and stay climate conscious.
Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the author and authors only, and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union. The European Union cannot be held responsible for them.